Right, I have two questions for the audience. I'll start with the first one now. It is, when was the last good movie year and why? So, by that, I don't mean like peak cinema or anything, because we obviously know that peak cinema was in 1993 when Bill Murray put together Groundhog Day, the greatest movie that has ever been made.
Haven't seen it.
That's pretty much undisputed at this stage. But so I'm not talking about peak cinema. I'm saying, when was the last year where the generally good stuff outweighed the generally bad stuff? So I've had to think about this because, back in the early 2000s, I used to live in central London, and there used to be a little Blockbusters at the end of the street, and I'd wander down there on any given night when I didn't have much to do, and you could always find a good film. You just walk in, basically grab something, and it's a good film. Right. These days, you cannot find a good film. You cannot just go on Netflix or Amazon or whatever it is and find a good. They don't exist anymore. So I've come to the conclusion that the last really genuinely good year. Oh, hang on. Where's my clicky thing? Oh no, John, can you do the clicky thing for me? Go to the next one, because
There we go.
oh, there we go. Right, there we go. So I think the last genuinely good year was 2008, because it produced the absolute epic Tropic Thunder. Am I right?
Can I be honest?
Yes.
I admire the testicles on Robert Downey Jr. for doing that,
Right.
and bits of it were funny. I didn't find it that funny. I found it a bit absurd. It was deliberately offensive, which I like because it stuck a thumb in the eye,
Yes.
but I just didn't find it that funny.
I thought it was all right. Anyway, so I thought that was the last genuinely good year, but I can make a case for 2000 and can you do the clicky thing again? Give me go to the next one. Oh, there we go. 2009.
That's a great film.
Yes, District. Yes, that was good. I want a sequel to that.
There have been some good films interspersed throughout the years. Like Joker was 2019. That was genuinely good.
Yeah, but no, my benchmark is, when do the generally good films outweigh the generally bad films? So you can't just say, oh, there's one nugget in a massive pile of shit.
Yeah. There's a diamond among the dog turd.
Yes.
I am very aware of this. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's definitely. Can we go to the next one? It's definitely not 2010, because the best film I could find was Kick-Ass. And
it wasn't great.
No, I mean, it was all right.
It was obnoxious.
I don't really remember any of the characters that well. I remember that there were like a little girl who beat up people with her dad, but the rest, I just can't remember the characters in any particular detail. Also in 2009, you got Inception, which is ridiculous.
Inception's rubbish.
Some people like it, but it breaks all its own rules.
Exactly. Thank you. Yes. Finally.
And True Grit that some people like, but it's just not that good. And I went to 2011 just to see if I could find it. And the best I could find is In Time, which was all right. I quite like that one. I quite like time traveling. Well, it's not time traveling, that one, but whatever. I like films with time in it.
You should have got up a list.
Well, if it just has the word time in the title.
No, Groundhog Day didn't have time in the title. Just
no,
time,
I mean,
time fiends. Whatever,
okay,
for whatever
right.
reason, it just appeals.
You were just like,
progresses linearly.
Time.
Yes. Yeah. Well, also in 2011, you've got The Raid, that Korean film. That was quite good. And you got Moneyball with Bradley the Pitt.
Brad Pitt, yeah.
And Drive, that some people.
Oh, Drive's great. Yeah, Drive's a great film.
Yeah.
OMG, he's literally.
But I still think by about 2011, it's definitely on the slide. And it's like, okay, so what makes a good film?
Is that an open question?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what it is. For a start, the minimum hygiene level that you need to clear is, I need to be able to hear it without putting the subtitles on.
I do watch with subtitles, but that's only because I usually watch with a woman, and so if she asks me to explain something, I can just point.
Oh
at
God,
the
that's
screen
annoying,
instead.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Do all women okay, that's the third question. Tell us do all women do that? Because the amount of times I've had to say to the wife, if you just watch the movie, your questions will be answered.
Yeah,
it's like the people who made the movie thought of this, and then they're going to explain it.
You're also interrupting me, giving you all of the really interesting trivia that you definitely want to hear. Like,
well,
I learned it for a reason.
That as well. Yeah, so you need to be able to hear it without subtitles, which modern movies they don't do it anymore.
The sound mixing is pretty poor. Harry and I noticed this when we went and watched Wakanda Forever, unfortunately, of where there was audio was peaking.
So go watch any modern movie and then go and watch a film from the 90s, and you'll see the difference. Because for a while, me and the missus just thought, oh, we're getting old and we can't hear anymore. And then for some reason we'd put on a 90s movie. It's like, oh, okay, well, we can hear again. It's like modern movies, they just muffle it and they eat all the words and stuff like that. And the only actor I know is Lawrence Fox. So I asked him why they do that. And he gave me two explanations. One of which is that actors are no longer classically trained in the proper whatever he had.
That's about right.
And the second reason was directors are going for realism, and that means that you're not supposed to be able to hear anything.
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
Well, even in the Marvel films, it sounds absurdly bad.
Well, they're not. I mean, they're the least the least worst. Also, in film hygiene level films, I want to be able to follow an action sequence without getting sick.
Yeah, without all the super cuts.
Yes. So good old movies that you had action scenes you could follow, and also I don't want a narrative fisted down my throat the entire time.
So yeah, don't watch a film from the last 10 or so.
Yeah. So the only other thing I will say, let's go to the next one, is 2008 began what we might now call the Great Scourge. So Iron Man.
Okay, I'm going to defend some superhero movies here.
No, I'm going to defend Iron Man.
Oh, there's ones after that are actually good.
Yes.
Watchmen's great, 2009.
Oh yeah, that was
Man of Steel, Batman v Superman. They're very good.
Yeah.
What else? Joker.
Can we go to the Wikipedia list, because I anticipated your questions.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, Marvel's kind of rubbish. Almost all of them are rubbish.
Yeah, I'm willing to give certain passes. So Iron Man, that was good.
Yep.
Right. Incredible Hulk, was that the one with Edward Norton?
Yeah, that was terrible. All of them. We can just keep scrolling. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Basically, my point is, like, everything on that first section,
Iron Man 2,
is kind of all right.
No, not with Mickey Rourke playing a Russia.
Yeah, but Thor, Captain America, and the Avengers, they were sort of right.
They're all boring and cheesy.
But once you get into that next block,
Guardians of the Galaxy was good.
Okay, everything in that next block, apart from Guardians of the Galaxy, is all trash at that point onwards.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I'm basically just making the point. There was a peak year, and it was probably 2008 or 2009.
In terms of the ratio, sure.
I think that's perfectly defendable. Now, we don't know why films started getting bad.
I can give you an actual answer to the audio problem if you'd like it.
Well, go on then.
So Vox did a really good video about this, where they went and interviewed people in the industry and asked them this question. And the fundamental issue is that, well, in the olden days, where you would see the movie, you would see it in the cinema and on your TV. It's the only two ways. Yeah. Whereas in the modern age, not only have you got a litany of different kinds of computer, you've got your phone, for Christ's sake, and everything else.
Yep.
So people who were doing the editing for the audio decided that their standard should be the cinema experience, which of course has also massively changed from what it used to be. Because now you have this ridiculous surround sound systems that cost like 20 grand or whatever. In which case, if that's the standard for the movie, that obviously isn't going to work on any other platform. Because if you're doing it for that kind of specialization, no one actually has a cinema in their house. That's mad.
Yeah, but I do have a surround system and I still can't hear.
You don't have it to the quality of a professional cinema.
No, that's true.
And the problem being that once you specialize that much, if you then try to apply it to anything else, it's bollocks. And it gets particularly bad when you're dealing with, like you say, Christopher Nolan's films, because he's known as the worst one in this case.
Yeah, it's deafening in the cinema, and then when you get it home, it just sounds flat.
So that is an explanation, but it's not a good explanation.
But if you sit and make a project, so if you sit and actually make a thing, you'll find this yourself, because I have it with my YouTube videos where I'll make a thing and it sounds perfect on my headphones from my computer, and then I'll watch it on my phone and it's crap. Like, okay, I got to go back and fix this because it's got to work on multiple platforms.
It's an explanation, but not an excuse.
Well, okay, that's an explanation on the sound thing, but my broad point is that films were good before 2010 and bad afterwards. That's the view on this, right? And we don't know why that happened, but I want to coincidentally show you some figures if we go to the next one. Right, so this is a snapshot of the filmmaking process measured between 2011 and 2020. And it's divided up into various categories. So we've got women and we've got men. And then we've got BIPOC and we've got white. Now, I don't actually know what BIPOC means.
Black Indigenous people of color.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was blacks, Indians, Pakistanis, Orientals, and Chilis.
Chilis?
Well, Mexicans have got to be in there somewhere, haven't they?
All right, yeah.
You could
all the spicy people.
You could have said commies.
Right.
Oh, yeah, yes, commies. Okay,
no, they're not people.
That's a bit.
Back to the drawing board.
Right, anyway, so point is, we don't know why things went downhill, but coincidentally, I will just point your attention to the fact that the category of men went down massively, right? And the other category is whites. They went down. So basically, white men received an absolute culling.
genuinely for the superhero films as well, there's a reason that they've been written really poorly by female writers, and that's because the way in which men and women write and consume media is very different. This is the same way that they play with toys when they're younger. Men aspire to be like this character. Women inhabit the shoes of that character and make the character like them. Like if you give a young girl an Action Man, she'll have Action Man playing tea and Action Man going to the shops. And if you give a young boy Action Man, he'll do Action Man things. And so if you're trying to write superheroes, you have the men writing the superheroes with big bombastic fight scenes and struggling and being victorious. When you get it with the women, you'll get it about affirmation and empowerment and them standing around talking and the audience falling to sleep.
Yes.
Hi folks, sorry to interrupt the video, but I just want to direct your attention to the aesthetics range of merch that we have on the store. These are beautiful images that I think work really well as posters or mugs. So if you want to support us, going over to the merch store at shop.lotus.com is easily the best way other than signing up on the website.
Yes, more women and more BIPOCs coincidentally just lines up, doesn't it?
Yeah, quite.
But yes, good point. So modern films, we've got the problem. I can't hear you, as we've covered. I can't see you because you're doing these jump cuts and you're doing these pissing lens flares all over the place. Everything has got a lens flare in it now.
Oh, it's a J.J. Abrams effect.
Yes. You go back and you watch old movies and they don't have any of them. They're fisting narratives down your throat the entire time. The characters are forgettable. Like if you think of any old movie and think of the characters, each character is distinct. Modern movies, you can never distinguish one from the other after you've watched it.
Like all the assembled cast of Predator or The Running Man or Aliens, you remember all of the people, even though they die off and have limited screen time. But I forget some of the Avengers names.
Yes, quite. Yes, this is my exact point. And plus the storylines are just bad. So if we go to the next one, I'll give you, because this came up yesterday, Starship Troopers.
That's an excellent film.
Yeah, that's a great film.
Despite the intent of the creator.
Well, yes, but yeah, it was a very good film. That he tried to ruin it, but he couldn't. He actually made a good film. So I sat down with the missus last night and watched this because it's obviously in the air at the moment. You did a segment on it yesterday, Callum. So some things jumped out at me for a start. I mean, the first thing, we were a few minutes into the movie, and I had to pause it and say to the wife, "White people."
Like an Indian in the plains.
Yes.
White people have been here.
But no, there was representation in the film. If I'm using my lingo, right? There was representation in the film, but broadly proportional to the overall population, right? Not like 60% BIPOC.
Yeah.
Right. So the second thing is femininity in this film done right. That the Denise Richards.
That's fascism.
She's hot.
Oh yeah, but she's a strong, capable woman who's like talented, all that stuff, but she's still feminine
And doesn't resent the men.
Yes,
Or try to
and she
upstage them.
smiles.
Yes.
She smiles at people. Like you never see women in movies smiling anymore because they have to be these grim-faced harridans who are like suffering through impression.
Specifically in Captain Marvel, in a deleted scene, one man asks her to smile and she decides to break his arm with cosmic energy and steal his motorcycle.
Yes, quite.
And she's the hero.
Yes. Plus, Starship Troopers, every character is memorable. Like even that dude who was like hitting on his girl, who then becomes the flight instructor of the girl who smiles. You know, even the secondary characters in the barracks. You know, one with the spiky hair and the big fat one who wants to fight the instructor. You know, all of the
Brown,
even the school teacher with missing arm. Like all of the characters are perfectly memorable. And even though I hadn't watched it for about 20 years until last night, I still remembered all of those characters.
It's visually distinct. The effects as well are mostly practical. That makes a big difference because they have a distinct aesthetic and they don't date themselves as much as bad CGI does. Like, have you gone back and watched the old Mummy films at any point?
Oh yes.
When The Rock turns into the Scorpion King and it looks worse than the PlayStation 1.
Yes.
Just go with practical effects.
Really bad. And the other thing that I really liked is you can hear the dialogue and it has some memorable lines. So the one I really like is when the second female, the redhead, when she's dying and she turns to Johnny and she says, "It's okay because I got to have you." So that I had to immediately stop the movie and tell my wife, right, 30 years from now when you're on your deathbed, I want you to say that to me and then immediately die. Because that is just...
I've seen what you eat for lunch. She's living you, mate.
That is the perfect exit for the wife. Anyway, right, so the point is, right, movies are done we cannot let the movie people do movies anymore. We have to make our own movies. So I'm going to talk to you about Sora AI. But before I do that, let's just quickly recap on where AI video has come from. Let's go to the next one. So this is, for those who are listening, this is the famous Will Smith eating spaghetti. This was like 18 months ago where video generation was. So
did they map Will Smith's face onto John from The Office doing his lunch? Love you, John. Don't turn off my mic.
No, that is it's not very good. If we go to the next one, as you can see, video has improved somewhat.
That's impressive.
Yeah,
his fingers are still a bit weird because they can't really do hands that well.
Yes. So do you want the biggest head trip of this?
Go on.
That is actually real video. Will Smith made that himself.
Oh, okay.
But that's the thing. It's like when you watch it, it's like you think, oh yeah, this is where AI is now. I mean, that's a bit cheeky. But the point is that you can put up normal videos these days, and people think they're AI.
His fingers really just that weird?
Yeah.
Okay. It's odd.
It's a thing. Anyway, so let's go to Sora AI, the next one there. Right? John, why don't you scroll down and just entertain us with some videos when you come across one? But this is now the standard of videos that you can just go along. I think they autoplay when you move down to them, but there are some other ones. I think they will just autoplay.
They're not.
They're not autoplay.
Oh, okay.
There we go. It's because we autoplay off.
Here we go. So yeah, so that's an old Western scene, completely AI generated.
Wow, that is impressive.
Yeah. But let's skim through some more, and I'll talk to them for the. What is that? Is a gnome making a garden or something? But
this is amazing audio for the listeners.
Yes. Let's do another one. Well, that's a person's eye, but that detail is. I mean, it's crossed the uncanny valley, isn't it?
Yes.
That's almost perfect, frankly.
Oh yeah. There's no way you'd be able to tell if you didn't have the clue.
Well, the implications of this are unsettling. Like, number one, it could kill Hollywood, so that's good. That's great.
It was that, yes.
But if it really is that high fidelity, then we cannot tell the difference between fake and real. So that's going to have really disastrous impact.
I mean, look at that. I mean, that is. So we're now watching a street scene in Lewisham.
Yeah, I was about to say London. Yeah,
and and it's just indistinguishable. The characters, the city scene, the people sitting having a drink together.
Buildings.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it is basically perfect. And what we've got here, we've got some pandas. So this is more Pixar style, but
you'll be able to make not disturbing and degenerate kids movies.
Yes,
right.
Yes, that don't try and turn your kids gay.
Exactly. Yeah, that's fantastic. But then the other implication is that nobody is ever going to have a shared experience again.
Well, I don't know about that. You see, I've been thinking about this, and you see, the problem with AI generation as it stands at the moment is the AI doesn't know what it's just done. It generates it, but it doesn't know. So you can't edit it. You can't generate that, right? And then say to it afterwards, okay, do the whole thing again, except make it wintry or something. It will generate a completely different bunny thing. So you can't redo anything. So you need to be able to edit it, and it's essential to be able to make fine edits if you're putting together a proper project. And you can't like make, even if this thing, because it's only a minute at the moment, even if it became like 2 hours, you wouldn't be able to just go back and insert one more scene because you have to regenerate the entire thing, or you get completely different assets. So a lot of people think that AI movies, when a couple of years from now, it will be you just put in a prompt like, I don't know. I want to remake a Kindergarten Cop in the hybrid style of Warhammer 40k and Bollywood. Press a button and it just pops up.
What a realistic one would be, for example, is remake the Iron Man movie, but if Tom Cruise had played Iron Man as planned rather than Robert Downey Jr. So you'll be able to like recast whole films that you actually like.
I don't know if I'd bother typing that out. That seems a bit.
Well, someone will.
Yeah. Yes. But the point is, a lot of people think that that AI movies are just going to be like typing a prompt and it's going to generate whole movies, because AI is it's remarkable in some senses, but its creative capacity is not. I mean, it's if you ever tried to make it do a joke or anything like that, or write a short story. I mean, it kind of gets the concept, but not really, not in a human way. So what I think will happen is in the next 2 to 3 years, there will be a package of AI tools that, when put together, will enable you to make a proper movie. But it will be a lot of work. Quite a lot of work.
But it'll be a lot less work than
Yes.
paying multiple hundreds of millions of dollars
Yes.
for actors who are up themselves and BIPOC female writers who just want to write about themselves, giving you a product that sucks and bombs at the
Yes, fisting a narrative down your throat, all that
Right.
kind of stuff. So what I'm envisaging is that, if you want to produce a movie in a few years, you get these package of tools, right? And what you'll have to do is, first of all, you need to write the story, and then you'll need to turn that into a screenplay, and you'll have to be really, really detailed. Right, then you have to write up each character in detail, not just their description, but their temperament, how they react to situation, what's going on in their head at any particular point, their emotional baggage, all of that kind of stuff. You need to write up in details. You'll need to describe the world and the aesthetic in
It will
detail.
still be a job.
What's that?
It will still be a job's worth.
But there'll be
Yeah,
less
exactly.
jobs.
So
But
I
it's like most of the internet. I mean, anyone can make some stuff,
Yes.
but most people who even try, and that's not most people,
Yeah.
fail.
yes.
And it's a very small creme de la creme that's even worth looking at. And then the actual
Mm.
good stuff is even smaller.
But my point is, it will take you at least 12 months, I think, to get to the point where you're ready to start even touching the AI tools. And most people won't have the patience to do that, right? And then once you've fed it into your AI tools, well, first of all, you'll need a set of AI tools that can produce persistent assets. Because at the moment, if you generate a character and then regenerate it, it will be a different character. So you need a set of tools that will give you your character. So you'll start developing your characters and your backgrounds, right? And then you'll need another set of tools that can go in and make edits afterwards. And maybe this will all be integrated into one package or something. But like at the moment, we sometimes generate stuff on Midjourney, don't we? And then we have to take it over into Photoshop in order to make fine edits on it and stuff like that, because the one AI doesn't do it. So I think really that whole process, I mean, the AI generation bit might take like an hour to generate a 4K 2-hour movie, but you need to put in a year either side of like prepping it all up, very quickly make the movie, and then another year of doing the editing stuff that sort of all comes down behind it.
Yeah.
Are you noticing something?
Well, no, it just looks fantastic. I mean,
Oh,
again,
yeah.
I think these things are evil, but that's really cool.
Yeah.
But having said all that, by the time that you train people up within a year to get used to the prompt system, and you have these...
Oh no, a bunch of autists will figure it out.
Exactly, but
Yeah.
people need to have it to be second nature. And by the time you have all the software that allows you to edit it all in one finely tuned package and have permanent assets, going forward, you won't have to spend a year to 2 years on filming in set locations,
Yes.
different working with different
Catering,
actors,
salaries, travel,
distribution.
yes, all of that kind of. Well, so my thinking is, right, okay, and to your point, Callum, most of it's going to be bad, right?
Yeah. Well, most things everyone already makes are bad.
Yes.
I mean, your point about the movies suddenly getting bad, I mean, there's some truth in that, but
Yeah.
the vast majority of all creative works are bad. No
Yes.
one looks at them.
Yes.
I think the statistic is like 99% of YouTube has less than 100 views.
So I went even
Shit.
Great
further.
distribution, isn't it?
I went even further, Mike, because I think that putting a good AI movie together in a couple of years, when the tool set is complete, will be at least, if not more, difficult than writing a novel. Right? And writing a novel takes a couple of years, right? How many novels are produced in the English-speaking world? About 300,000 a year. Okay,
Way too many.
so let's say that only a tenth of 1%, so 1 in 1,000 novels, are good. Seems reasonable, doesn't it?
Yeah,
0.1%.
I don't think it takes a couple of years, but
Write a novel.
yeah, most well, if you were doing 8 hours a day of writing, it would probably take you about 6 months to do about 400 pages, something like that.
Well, if you bang it out in one go.
Yeah.
But let's say, okay, between 1 and 2 or 3 years, whatever, depending how fast you are. So I think it's that level of effort. But anyway, the point is 300,000 novels produced every year. And if you can go to that much detail, you can probably generate an AI movie. You just need to do, screenplays and scripting and prompting and all the rest of it that comes with it. So that means that we should be soon getting 300 really good movies a year that come through this process. So then all you need a really good discovery system so the best ones float to the top, and a monetization system.
You won't need that. That just happens naturally. Like once someone stumbled across something really good, they share it.
Well, yeah.
That's how things have always worked.
So, but we've probably got those already, was my point. So, I mean, you've something like X, for example, it will float the best stuff to the top and it will monetize it.
Sure. I mean, back in the
Yeah.
day, people used to share, what was it, actual VHSs.
Yeah.
Like the sharing of good content isn't the hard bit. I mean, to be honest, all
Yeah.
of this is fantastic news for filmmakers Because, I mean, like you say, you're just saving on sets, you're saving on actors, blah, 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 blah. But the people who are actually making the film and the editors, they're going to have a great time. Like, their jobs aren't changing. It's just a different way of making the film.
Yes.
This is just a disaster for every lovey that's currently studying to be an actor and isn't classically trained and can't translate over to the stage where people want to see real things.
Yes.
Because your job will be defunct.
Yeah.
But there will be a demand for that, but it'll just be way lower.
Very scarce, yeah.
But if you're willing to put the effort in, you'll be able to do that yourself, is kind of what I'm getting at. So I think we're going to enter a new golden age of film where anyone who's willing to put in, a year or 2 or 3 of hard work
4chan.
will be able to produce something which is excellent and will float to the top.
Well, I don't know about golden age. I think you'll be able to
Yeah.
curate your own experiences in a much better way. So there's going to be a lot of rubbish, but slightly less
But
portion of
as
slop.
long as the good stuff floats to the top, and so that prompts me to think. Okay, this is my sort of second question: is if you could make a movie, what movie would you make? That's a question to the audience.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask you to because I've actually already decided on your behalf what the movies would be. So can we go to Callum's movie? So I thought 3 Taliban and a Baby would be a project that you might want to spend a couple of years on.
But why are all
No.
the Taliban babies?
Well, it's
There's
supposed to
3
be,
babies and a Taliban.
He's actually 17 years old.
well,
That's how he grew the beard.
3 Taliban and a Baby. Anyway, that would be our thought. And for Connor's
Go on,
efforts,
then.
I thought there's something about Mary H. Anyway, moving swiftly on. I wanted to make the ears bigger, but I couldn't figure out how to do it.
You're such a dick.
If you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content that's on the site, such as the Epoch series, this episode on Edward I, Part 3. If you'd like to find out what else is being put out, you can follow on Twitter at lotuseaters_com on Twitter. Thank you and goodbye.